is fantastic, man. I'm thrilled to be here. I do live in Washington, D.C. However, I also have roots in Texas. My father is from Seguin, Texas, which is just a little south from here, you know. And I'll tell you, I was here in Austin last May, and I was at a show, and I mentioned that my father was from Seguin. And a guy comes running up to me after the show, and he goes, "Dude, is your dad really from Seguin?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Dude, I got addicted to meth in Seguin." It's a small world, sir. So glad my dad's hometown is thriving. But I mean, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be anywhere, man. That pandemic was a motherfucker, wasn't it? You know? I tell you, and it was really tough if you were a big guy like me. Because during that whole thing, people would come running up to me to tell me that I'm how high risk I am for COVID because of how fat I am. They're like, "You're so high risk. You're so high risk." And I would just tell them the same thing, you know, that COVID need to get to the back of the line. I challenge you to look at me and tell me what I'm not high risk for. You know, heart disease, diabetes, burning out Chick-fil-A because they're fucking closed on Sundays. You know, any Rogan fans here?
Oh yeah.
That was the most sarcastic yeah I've ever heard, man.
Yes.
Fuck that bald motherfucker. No, he recently came out with a Instagram post, and on it said that scientists did a study and proved that being obese makes you more likely to get COVID. And I think that's a waste of a study. So I don't think anybody was denying that. You know? Like, did they spend money on that? Like, if they were going to do a study, what they should have done is done a study and figure out what illnesses or disorders or whatever would you benefit from adding a few 100 pounds to your frame. I would claim that shit no matter what it was. Be like, yeah, I gotta keep my weight over 300, otherwise my herpes will come back. What? Herpes doesn't survive in a high cholesterol environment. They did a study. I mentioned that my father's from Seguin. Sadly, I recently lost my father. Aww. Yeah, in a corn maze. Then he fucking died. Yeah, asshole. You know, and you may say, well, how can you call your dad an asshole? Because I'll tell you why. I don't believe in mourning death. I believe in celebrating life. You know, my dad had a good, long life. And he fought hard to the end. When the doctors told him there was no chance of recovery, they asked him, "Do you want us to pull the plug?" And he said, "No. I'm going to live this out." I would have taken that deal in a heartbeat, okay? Every time I go to the doctors, I ask them to pull the plug on me, okay? Just a couple weeks ago, I was at the doctor's, and I'm like, "Doc, if this goes bad, I want you to feel free to pull the plug." And he goes, "I'm an eye doctor." And I'm like, "Well, are you also a pussy? Let's go with the pulley-pulley." And he goes, "Ray, if you feel that bad about yourself, why don't you do something about it? Try and lose some weight. Try and get better shape. Eat better." Fuck you, dude. You're just an eye doctor. My eyes are up here, sir. Hashtag me too. But I am trying. I am trying to live a better life, trying to get healthier. I did something for New Year's this year that I rarely do. I made a New Year's resolution that I was going to lose weight, I was going to eat better, I was going to exercise, I was going to try and improve my physical stature. And then because I'm Catholic, I decided to combine that with Lent. So for Lent this year, I gave up hope. And it's going great, as you can imagine. You know? And then I wanted to improve my mental state. You know, try and get past this depression. So I did what any adult would do. I started taking mushrooms. Mushrooms? Mushroom fans? Yeah? Yeah? Sir, mushrooms?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. If there's anybody here who hasn't taken mushrooms, though, and you want to start, piece of advice. Don't start during Gay Pride Month. I'm dead serious. Because I was living in D.C., And I was seeing stars and glitter and rainbow and unicorns and dragons and leprechauns, right? And then I took the mushrooms and the shit got way crazier. So wait till July, okay? Give yourself some time. You know what the biggest effect of taking mushrooms does to me? Is that I'm constantly telling people that I'm high on mushrooms. It's true. I was out in my car the other day, and I'm talking to this guy, and I'm like, dude, I am so high on mushrooms right now. And he's like, sir, I asked for your license and registration. Please stop telling me that. And then I read that if you want to feel better about yourself, try doing nice things for yourself. So, I'm proud to announce that I recently got my anus bleached. Yeah, anus bleached. Anybody, sir? Anus bleached? Oh, you don't know what you're missing. I found it delightful. The people who had to do the job would not say the same thing, though. Yeah, they had to put in some work. I have what's described as deep cheeks. So I had to treat it less of a cleanup and more like a mining operation. They had to put in like support structure and a tramway. We lost 3 Chilean miners. We found them. They went back to Chile. They were like, no mas. Our babies don't need to eat that badly. Yeah, you know, it's tough. Recently broke up with my girlfriend. You know, we broke up because I don't know how to talk to women. I'll give you an example. When we first started dating, we would ask each other questions, learn about each other. And the first question she asked me was, do you have a porn addiction? Now, what I should have said was no, I don't have a porn addiction. What I actually said was, why, what have you heard? So we had to break up. Which is fine. You know, I also got tired of the fighting. Everybody's so angry now. Everybody wants to fight. You guys ever feel like that? You ever feel like fighting? Maybe? Yeah. Like, I think right now the reason I feel like fighting is I just watched the movie Roadhouse. Roadhouse fans? Oh my God. There's a scene in that movie, if you haven't seen it, where Patrick Swayze is having this brutal fight with a guy named Jimmy down by a river. And it is this brutal, bloody, hand-to-hand combat. And in the middle of this fight, for some reason, Jimmy looks at Patrick Swayze and goes, I used to fuck guys like you in prison. Which I realized was supposed to be like a badass thing to say, but personally it sounded more like Jimmy was doing a little fishing, you know? Wanted to gauge Swayze's reaction, you know? Because in the scene, Swayze is oiled up and shirtless and wearing the tightest pair of sweatpants you've ever seen a man wear. Like they're so tight, the only thing missing is the word juicy on his ass. So I think Jimmy thought if he said, I used to fuck guys like you in prison, his hope was Swayze would be like, no way, me too. But now I kind of want to use that in a fight, see what happens. Maybe not a physical altercation, just like a good argument. Like, what if I come here tonight and I saw Dave? I said, Dave, I'm here. And he goes, oh, Ray, bad news. We overbooked the show, and I can't put you up tonight. I'm like, dude, I came all the way from D.C. I'm going up tonight. He goes, no, it's not going to happen. I said, hey, this is not how you treat people. He's like, hey, get off my ass. I get up the club, the crowd, everything. Get the hell away from me. You're not going up. And I said, hey, I used to fuck guys like you in prison. And as you can see, it worked. I'm on stage right now. Don't know what that means for after the show. Cross that bridge when we get there. I'm gonna leave you guys with this. I'm a cinephile. I watch a lot of movies, and one thing I did during the pandemic was I watched the entire Harry Potter franchise in one weekend. Harry Potter fans, anyone here? Yeah. They weren't bad, but I didn't like the ending. In particular, I didn't like the final battle between Voldemort and Harry Potter. And the reason is, you make 8 movies showing how much these guys hate each other, and then you have this really lame, epic final battle. You know, they didn't bring the rage, they didn't bring the vitriol, they didn't bring the hate. You know, and you gotta do that to have that epic climax, you know? So if I had made that movie in order to fix that, all I would have done is I would have added a little bit of dialogue just to really bring it home. So if you've seen the movie, like what happens is both Voldemort and Harry Potter end up in the courtyard, they're on the ground, they're crawling to their wands. Harry Potter gets his wand first. He stands up, he looks at Voldemort and he goes, Voldemort! You killed my family! Today I avenge them, and I end your reign of terror! And then Voldemort gets to his wand. He stands up. He looks Harry Potter dead in the eye, and he goes,